Good evening, everyone. And a big thank you to Premier Fury and Minister O'Regan for their very kind words. We're very happy that you would join us here this evening, and thank you for your support of Hibernia. A special acknowledgement to our co-venturers and their team members who are here today. Chevron Canada Resources, Suncor Energy, Canada Hibernia Holding Corporation, Murphy Oil Company, Equinor Canada, Nalco Oil and Gas managed by Oil Co. Newfoundland and Labrador, and of course, ExxonMobil Canada, the lead owner in the Hibernia project. I would like to start by thanking each and every one of you here tonight. Thank you for being here. And thank you for your contributions and support over the years. Whether you've worked directly on Hibernia, elsewhere in industry, or supported the project and its people over the years, everyone here is a part of this celebration. 25 years. It is an incredible milestone. In the lead up to tonight, I'm sure many of us have reflected on what Hibernia means to us, and maybe even when we first heard of the project. For me, I have a vivid memory of the very first time that I heard of Hibernia. And at that moment, it stood for hope, for something better, the same as it does today. As has been mentioned, it had been a couple of years since the Cobb moratorium. And at the kitchen tables in St. John's and at the Burin Peninsula, where my dad is from, my aunts and uncles talked about the impact on their lives and our province, and it was tough. Even at a young age, I could recognize the overwhelming blow that the moratorium had leveled on our province. I knew it affected people and families and communities. Family and friends were moving away, and those who stayed struggled to find their path forward. My father, who I loved and admired dearly, was a small business owner, entrepreneur, eternal optimist, and a passionate Newfoundlander. He was always looking forward and always looking for opportunity. When I was about 15 years old, after tough economic times hit very close to home, I remember my dad talking about a new age, one of hope and prosperity, hope that we so desperately needed. And sensing my uncertainty, he said, "Don't worry, son. There's this project called Hibernia, and it's going to change everything." And it did. Hibernia changed the trajectory of countless families, businesses, careers, and communities all over this province. Hibernia created jobs, thousands of jobs, and new government revenue when it was needed the most. And those family and friends, well, they were now moving home. Today, about 95% of those working on Hibernia are residents of Newfoundland and Labrador. Over the years, thousands and thousands of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians have worked on the project. Engineers, technicians, cooks, roustabouts, researchers, tool pushers, production operators, crane operators, radio operators, and so many more. Talented, hard-working people whose ideas and efforts have allowed the project to continue to surpass expectations and predictions. When Hibernia achieved first oil on November 17, 1997, 25 years tomorrow, it was a month ahead of schedule. Looking back, surpassing expectations from the onset has become a part of what Hibernia is best known for and is woven into the fabric of our team. Hibernia was expected to operate for 18 to 20 years and produce roughly 500 million barrels of oil. But in 2016, Hibernia hit a milestone that was not even thinkable in the 90s. 1 billion barrels of oil. Today, that has climbed to more than 1.2 billion barrels of oil. Now, I'm sure some of you have attended the Energy NL conference this year, and if you did, hopefully you heard ExxonMobil Canada President Laz Cosma talk, and he shared that Hibernia and Hibernia Southern Extension owners have paid almost $18 billion under the fiscal agreements with the provincial and federal governments since 1997. That was as of the end of last year. I'm incredibly proud to share that as of the end of September of this year, that number is now estimated to be more than $19 billion. That's an additional $1 billion from January to September of this year. Money that was available for healthcare, for schools, for infrastructure. The project, once thought to have 18 to 20 years of life, is celebrating 25 years with the potential to continue providing those kind of benefits to our province for another 20 years. We see the visual of Hibernia all around us. In the intro to the evening news, industry promotional materials, and even social media profiles. The Hibernia platform has become an iconic symbol of our province and its people, a reminder of what we can achieve. When Hibernia began construction in 1991, there was very little supporting infrastructure in this province. Hibernia laid the foundation and paved the way for others to follow. There are countless examples of local people who looked to the oil and gas industry, identified gaps or challenges, and offered solutions and created success in their own businesses. And with those successes came more jobs. And many of those are now exporting those solutions to other jurisdictions or applying them to other industries. On its 25th anniversary, it's easy to wonder what the legacy of Hibernia will be, or what we had hoped it would be. I've talked about jobs and business and revenue, and that's all important, that's for sure. But when you talk to the people of Hibernia, what they hope that the legacy goes well beyond our economic and fiscal impacts. There are 3 items that keep coming up over and over, and I hope to share them with you tonight. In the early days of Hibernia, we committed to conducting research, development, education, and training in Newfoundland and Labrador. And through that work, we identified a significant need in this province, and frankly, all of Canada, for graduates in science, technology, engineering, and math, also known as STEM. We knew that in order to see more students pursuing studies in engineering, technology, and trades, they needed to feel excited about STEM, have opportunities to explore all these different areas in a bunch of different ways. And so we went to work, and we invested in school programming, making sure that they had opportunities to explore this from kindergarten to grade 12. In fact, my first job was in high school, enabled through the outreach programs created by these efforts. We've had the privilege of partnering with many phenomenal organizations to explore STEM in a hands-on way. Organizations like Let's Talk Science, Esteem, and the GeoCenter. Funding these programs have contributed to a trained workforce in Newfoundland and Labrador by promoting these skills with students of all ages, and especially young girls, which is part of our commitment to inclusion and diversity. Through some of the organizations I mentioned, these girls have had the opportunity to build go-karts and then ride them, extract DNA from strawberries, and participate in helicopter simulations, just to name a few. I can't overstate just how inspirational and heartwarming these stories are that we hear about their experiences and their successes from young people all over our province, from Galtus to St. Bride's, Twillingate to Port Hope Simpson. Like Hannah George. Hannah this year is attending university in France, Spain, and New Zealand. And she's completing her master's in precision medicine. Hannah attended STEM programs funded by Hibernia and says that they were instrumental in guiding her towards a career in science. And when she comes home this Christmas, she'll be meeting with the young girls that look up to her now the way that she looked up to others. And next fall, she'll be home, attending medical school at Memorial University. The second legacy goal that our people talk about with great pride is our community investment and community involvement. At Hibernia, we are proud to be working with community groups to support people and families all over our province. I'm so honored to see so many organizations that we've been fortunate to support here tonight. Our support of your organization is our way of recognizing the important work that you do every single day. Some of those with STEM focus I've already mentioned, but there are so many more, making an impact over Newfoundland and Labrador, the Red Cross, the Ride for Dad, the Newfoundland Symphony Orchestra, the Fortune Head Interpretation Center. They're just a few examples. Our approach to community investment and involvement is often driven by our people. For example, on Hibernia, offshore workers participate in a safety program, both on shift and off shift, and they submit cards to document safe and unsafe behaviors. For each card submitted by Hibernia workers, HMDC donates 50 cents. Each quarter, when we rack that up, our workforce votes for a charity to receive that donation, which over the years has included Kids Eat Smart, the SPCAs in Gander and Clarenville, the Gathering Place, and many more. As part of our 25th anniversary, we invited the Hibernia workforce to select a cause in their community to receive a $25,000 donation. The team chose to support accessibility upgrades to the Dr. Davis Earl Trail in Carbonear. Besides for providing funding, Hibernia workers showed up, just like they do every day, to do the work on the trail, which truly embodies the connection between our workers and their communities. Which brings me to what I feel will always be our greatest legacy at Hibernia, our people. There, friends, there is the thread that runs through everything that we have talked about here this evening. Our people are smart and curious and innovative. They care for each other deeply, and they care about this province we call home. I see it every day with our team. The technology has changed, but the potential and the ability of people to pioneer big ideas, put all the pieces together to make it happen, has been constant. As Margot mentioned, we are fortunate to have a great contingent from our offshore and onshore teams here tonight, many of whom were here at First Oil. They are the reason we are celebrating here tonight, and they are the reason we will be operating for many years to come. These women and men are passionate Newfoundlanders and Labradorians who contribute to their communities, including many rural communities, as coaches, volunteer firefighters, community leaders. They live all over our beautiful province because of the flexibility that an offshore rotation affords, making those contributions and making us very proud. So thank you all very much. As we celebrate the 25th anniversary of First Oil at Hibernia, it's much about looking forward as it is about looking back. At Hibernia, we are proud that we've reduced GHG emissions by more than 25% since 2005 through reduced flaring and enhanced reliability. Understandably, there are some feelings of uncertainty in this room around this transition. But I would like to remind you of two things. The first is that our industry holds itself to a high standard as it relates to safety, health, and the environment. And when it comes to sustainability, we believe Canada should be a preferred supplier of oil and gas in the global energy mix, given our products are produced with high standards under robust regulations. The second is that we are evaluating technology to further reduce our emissions that can be scalable to our offshore operations. We are looking at a wide range of technologies to address primary GHG sources, including evaluating the applicability of carbon capture and storage on our post-combustion emissions, and alternative power supplies coupled with platform electrification, fuel switching, and gas management. In closing, I want to share what I've experienced and what I'm sure you have experienced about the people all around us. The people of this industry, the people of this province. They're impressive, they're pioneers, they're resilient. They can dream and design and execute and continually improve in a way that has others all around the world calling us to say, how did you do that? The people in this room who have already accomplished so much and seized opportunities many didn't even believe existed, they are the same people that will continue to lead. Before I conclude, there are a few groups that I'd like to recognize. Again, our co-venturers in Hibernia and Hibernia Southern Extension, our regulator, the CNLOPB, the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador, and the Government of Canada. Our MC for the evening, Margot Bruce O'Connell, my friend and colleague. Of course, Charlene and all the crowd at Energy NL. For everything that they do, but particularly for this very special evening. In truth, I could recognize every person sitting at every single table in this room here tonight. You are all part of the success of this industry and this province. And I am honored that you took the time to be here with us tonight. 25 years. There is so much to celebrate. There is still so much to look forward to. I'm excited for what's to come, and I hope that you are too. Thank you. Have a great evening.